Classicism is seen in the streets of Amsterdam in many places. But this classicism isn't just a copy of Italian classicism, and it did emerge late. Where did it come from? What are the differences, and what are the reasons for this? The work of the Roman writer Vitruvius on architecture became very popular again in the 15th century in Italy, and people like Leonardo da Vinci also had their theories about what was beautiful. It was all about harmony, proportion and symmetry, like in ancient Greek architecture. But it was the later architects, Palladio and Scamozzi, who had the biggest influence in the Netherlands. Classicism in the Netherlands started around 1600, the Golden Age, and was first inspired by Palladio and Scamozzi. Hendrik de Keyser used their exuberant decorative style, but it was followed 30 years later by a more sober version. The Dutch classicism that can be seen as a reaction against the mannerisms and baroque of the Catholic Zuidelijke Nederlanden. In the Dutch classicism, almost no columns were used, only pilasters. It was promoted by Stadtholder Frederik Hendrik and his court in The Hague, and especially by Constantijn Huygens, his secretary. His architects were Jacob van Campe and Pieter Post. It became a trend for houses of the rich merchants of Amsterdam and the public buildings in Amsterdam. A famous architect here was Philip Wingboons. Taking a closer look into Amsterdam's streets, we can easily spot on different buildings pilasters and pediments, followed by arches and decorations of girlands. First examples from the 17th century can be spotted on these buildings. These elements became indicators of the classicist fashion. They were applied to the most prestigious and wealthy buildings, one of which is the town hall at Dam Square that we will elaborate on a bit later. Inspiration for this design is taken from the Italian classicism, following Vitruvius in theory and Andrea Palladio in practice. After the 17th century, the classicist notion in architecture remained in use up until the contemporary time. Its popularity afterwards suggests a built association of the style with national or local identity. Around the time of the signing of the Peace of Münster in 1648, the city of Amsterdam decided on building a new town hall. The wealthy, thriving city wanted to show its power and newfound independence through the design of the building. The building was nicknamed the Eighth World Wonder, and its beauty and strength were praised in many poems by writers like Vondel and Huygens. The town hall, or palace, that can still be admired on the Dam Square, right in the middle of the city, was the epitome of the Dutch classicist style. By referring back to the ancients, the city seemed to equate itself with the great city of Rome, while at the same time showing that the people of Amsterdam had both the knowledge and money to realise such a comparison. The town hall's architect, Jacob van Campe, was very inspired by Vitruvius and later Italian architects. This can be seen in the way Van Campe chooses a very symmetrical design that is rhythmically partitioned using Corinthian pilasters. The spaces in between the pilasters are lined with festoons of different designs. The architectural structure is characterised by its sober style, but the symbolic decorations give the building its ancient temple-like appearance. On the back side of the building, Atlas carries the firmament on his shoulders. Given the task of carrying the skies as a punishment by Zeus, he is an icon of unparalleled strength. The Titan oversees all of Amsterdam from his vantage point on the gable in central position and at the heart of the building. The presence of Atlas is a metaphor for the position Amsterdam was seen to occupy in the Golden Age. The decorative sculptures designed by Quilinus for the exterior avoid repeated motifs and are instead varied, including fruit, flowers, sea creatures, ships, instruments as symbolic representations of the city of Amsterdam. In the wake of its independence, Amsterdam required a building which asserted its dominance through visual prowess and definition. This interpretation is enhanced by the triangular gable which emphasises Van Campe's temple-like building. Quilinus includes a sculpture of peace alongside allegorical figures which represent prudence and justice upon the eastern pediment. The pediment facing Dam Square is all about the importance of water to the city. It features Poseidon and the Amsterdam maid Stedenmacht as the centre of the pediment. The western pediment features Atlas, whom we have previously mentioned, and is joined by fortitude and temperance. Lastly, the western pediment contains allusions to the four continents and insinuates the bounties of global trade. These respective facades communicate balance to one another, male and female, land and sea. Dutch classicism constitutes an important manifestation of political aspirations and heritage inspirations of the Dutch at that time. The classicism itself was so influential in different fields that its characteristic architectural elements can still be found in Golden Age and contemporary buildings. The architectural style alone is an easily spotted part of Dutch history. The popularity of Dutch classicism can therefore be explained with a will of creating new associations on both international and local fields, applying the style into the important buildings like wealthy mansions, national constructions, and the cultural buildings, clearly spoke in favour of perceiving the classicist elements as prestigious.